Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here today. And I'm really glad you're here today because today we've got this huge hunk of crazy lace agate. And yeah, it's a pretty huge hunk, I say. And this is a nice, I don't know what to say other than it's really nice. I mean, my cousin got this hunk and said, "Can you cut this up for me?" I'm like, "Sure, I think I can." And then it got here and I'm like, wow, this thing is huge and big. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's take a look at this and take a look at how we're going to approach this thing. You can see we've got all kinds of gnarlies here. Let me put some wall on there just to bring out the color. On this side we've got, we got really nice color. I don't even think I have to zoom in. Let me see. Yeah, we'll zoom in a little bit. Focus. There's just all kinds of everything on this. And each side has its own, basically has its own characteristics and character. And I think it's really cool is we got this big open seam of gnarly crystals in here, which are purple, red, who knows what all. And we've got, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. Look at that. We got swirlies, we've got reds, we've got multiple colors. Over in these two sides, it's not exactly as colorful, but it's still pretty stinking colorful. And I'm looking at this going, wow, well, we got to cut this. We got to cut some slabs off of this and see what we come up with. And, well, as you know, all I have is the noisy saw of noisiness, which is not cut very, very well on bigger pieces like this. But today, we got a surprise. The new saw of sawiness. Yes, this is actually a Montgomery Ward 6-inch combination lapidary machine. And it has a nice 6-inch saw on this side. You know, it's pretty awesome. And I just refurbished this thing completely from being, well, that's what it looked like. So now I've got me a good 6-inch saw. So we can cut ourselves a nice slab off of this. And honestly, I think I'm going to cut a piece off of this side right here. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is figure out how I'm going to put this in here, which is probably like that, and cut through that. And we're going to show you as I cut it. But first we got to fill it up with water. And I have a little ingenious method to fill this because I had to seal it around, because every time you turned it on, the water shooshed out around the unsealed edge, which it may have had a seal before. I don't know for sure. So how I have this figured out is I have a hose here. It fits down one of these holes, and the water is hooked up. And see, we've got water dripping now. See, water dripping. And it takes 2 minutes to fill this up. So in 2 minutes, we're going to make a cut. Okay, we are all filled up, I should say. And maybe I'll adjust this a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right, now I'm going to start it up, and I'm going to try to make a cut along this mark. Hopefully I'll be able to keep the camera going without getting it soaking wet. So here we go. you can see, it's not real fast, but whoa, it cuts nice. So let's take this back over to the table and take a look at what we've got. And what we got is a big old wet gnarly stone. But we have a cut wet gnarly stone, which is what we were looking for. All right, let's take a look at this now. That has got some seriously nice stuff in there, and I know this is going to break off. And what a shame. Has some nice druzy there, apparently. So we can definitely get a beautiful piece out of that, and I can go along and cut some more. I mean, look at that. That is really, that's a really awesome cut. That machine's from the early 70s, and I just put a new blade on it, and all I had to do was just, there we went. Okay, so this piece here, I think I'm just going to cut it here and then start trimming it down into, well, cabochons. So we're probably going to do 2 pieces today, possibly just 1. So I'm going to go cut this in half, and then I'll meet you over the wheel and let's get on it. Get the wheel going here. There we go. And if you have noticed, I cleaned this place up, and actually I had to add that machine, so I sort of revamped the whole studio, which I'll be giving you a little tour of later. And I think we're just going to do this one piece for the video, just for the sake of brevity. Let's start on this here. I'll work these edges a little bit, and then we'll see what shape this stone wants to be. Boy, I really hate taking off this druzy stuff. Oh, look at the color. I probably should have marked out like a circle or something on here, since it is a slab. But why are we going to do something like that? We can just cut the crap out of it. Maybe I'll do that one with the other piece. We'll mark it up, cut it up. As of right now, we're just going to work this stone as is, which will be a lot of grinding. Okay, and after a lot of grinding, we've got pretty much a nice circle. A little bit off, but hey, aren't we all just a little bit off? Alrighty, so I'm going to start working the top of this down now. I'm going to take this higher pointy edge off before I start hitting that drill. Going to be a little bit more work on this side right now because it's not a cut slab, it's that rough edge. This stuff's pretty hard, so it should take a polish nicely. Now I'm going to start working on the top a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. Focus. Now we got a big old gnarly divot right there in the big old gnarly divot right there in the center. The colors aren't too bad either. If I get it in the middle of the screen, it'd be better. Now I'm just going to work on getting that dome roughed in more, which is going to take a little bit. Stone this size. Boy, that gnarly just does not want to come out of there. Now you can see it. It's right there. Right there. Just got to take the dome down a little bit more. Okie dokie, let's see here. Yep, yeah, we've got that pretty much out of there. And focus. Shape of the stone's pretty pleasing. So I think we're done with this wheel. And now we're gonna pop on over here to this here wheel. Okay, so I'm gonna work this girdle first. After I turn the water down, it's really coming out there today. See what this shape look like from the back. Okay. That stuff is a pleasure to work. A little bit on the hard side, but that's not always a bad thing. Means it's probably going to take up a really good polish. Yeah. Focus. That is coming along nice. That's going to turn out to be a really nice looking stone. So I think before we go any further, I'm just going to put this on a stick because it needs stick stucked. Okay, so don't go away. Yep, looks like it's on a stick. Let me work on this edge just a little bit more again, since we have it on a stick, and we can do so a lot easier. Not quite completely circular, but I like it that way. A nice setting edge on there. Well, nice girdle, I should say. Soften that edge up a little bit. And work on transitioning that edge. I get that dome nice and even, so I can feel it's not quite rounded. A little bit of a flat spot there towards the top. But we know how to take care of that here, don't we? Unrounded domes and gnarly divots, we can take care of them any time of the day. Let's see, yep, that's coming along nicely. Colors seem to be coming out in there better. A little bit of a rough spot right in here. You have to work on that a little bit more. I think that was some of that gnarly divot that was left. Oh, and I got another postcard from Mrs. Cluck. Not a postcard. Man, I'm showing my age every time I say that. Got an email from Mrs. Cluck. And didn't really get any explanation for it, or of it. And if those of you who don't know, Mrs. Cluck used to be the sponsor of the channel until she retired. And now she treats us to what she's doing on her retirement. And she sent this email, or this photo in the email, and all she said was, keeping fit. So apparently she is. Don't know how old Mrs. Cluck is, to be honest, but that's how rubber chickens keep fit. I guess that's how they do it. Okay, we still have a bit of a gnarly in there, right in that area. And it seems like there's some crystalline structure there, so that might actually be a little bit more difficult to get out than I anticipated. I am going to work on that. I can actually feel it when I'm going across the stone. Okay, it is coming out more. It's right here. And that's what you got to look for when you're doing stone. If at all possible, you want to get those gnarlies out of there. I mean, well, that's what makes a stone a good stone or a poorly done stone. You want to make it shine. Of course, sometimes something like that will give a stone character. It depends on the stone. Stone isn't like people in most cases. Most people, let me adjust this. No, not most people, but people have rough spots in them. You can't always get rid of all of the rough spots. You have to accept people with their rough spots. Accept them for what they are and who they are. And quite often you can help someone be the best version of who they are, in spite of their rough spots. Just because a person has a rough spot doesn't mean they're inferior. And there I go, talking philosophy again. But just like a stone, sometimes you cannot force a rough spot out of a person or a stone. But you can help them deal with their rough spots. And I'm thinking we got that rough spot pretty well taken care of on this one. Let's take a look. Well, it's right there. Let me see if I can get the right there on the shine. And I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to get that rough spot out of there, because I think that's a little bit of a void in that. A little bit of a void in there. Let me work on the edge and round it all over, and then see if I want to continue on that rough spot some more. I'm still amazed that this does not really hurt my arthritis. Occasionally it bothers it a little bit, but not a lot, which I am thankful for. Not being able to do this would make my job a lot harder. See if that took care of any of that rough spot. And two little tiny rough spots right in there. And I'm going to see if I can take it down a little bit more. This piece of agate has a lot of like earth tones and grays in it. I've seen some that's really bright, vibrant reds and purples. They're awesome. But so is this one. Everything can't be super bright colored. It doesn't mean that it's not pretty. Yeah, I believe that is coming out. And I believe it's going to really be deep, though. Take it too much farther, I'm afraid it might get into a bigger section of void, because I believe that is not just a adjusting some side here. I'm thinking that's not just a rough spot that needs taken out. I think it's actually a little bit of a void in there with some druzy type material. Sort of like the big purpley one on the outside that we saw when we looked at the whole piece. Yeah, there's a slight bit of a divot in there, but I can actually see that that goes down really deep. So that's about all that we're going to get out of that divot, or get that divot out. So the next thing is move from this wheel over to the wheel of the bad valve. And you think I was going to fix the bad valve? No way. How would we know what wheel this is if we didn't know it was the wheel with the bad valve? Oh, wow. There we go. Oh, I can't turn the valve. I actually bought another valve just like that, and it appears that that third one there is a little stiff on it too, so maybe that's a design flaw. I don't know. Okay, I don't think I'm going to have to do too much on this wheel. The hardness seemed to be aiding me in getting rid of the facets. Let's take a quick look here. Focus. Ooh. Alright, that is really bringing the color out. Yeah, you can see there's still those little bit of gnarlies right there. Right there. There it is. There it is. But I can see that they go down pretty deep. I'm thinking that could be one of those where we could grind and grind and grind and grind and grind and still not get rid of it. So we shall accept its rough spots and help it to be the best stone that it can be. Because that's what we do. Okay, let's have a look. That's looking nice. I'm running out of dry spots on my arm. Focus, focus, focus. Ooh, doggy. Yeah, this is really awesome over here. Alrighty, so let's... Oh, I can't shut the valve off. There it is. Now, I adjusted this so that, yes, I can get right over to the edge so we can actually see what's happening on this wheel. Of course, this is getting kind of in the way. Come on, where's the water? There's the water. May just have junk in there plugging them up. That's what I'm hoping it is. And this wheel is not going to take long, so I'm going to hit it on this one. I'm going to take it over to cerium oxide. Cerium oxide it up, and I shall meet you back at the bench, and we will have a look at this. Okay? Okay, I'm back. And here is what we have. Let me zoom in on that. Well, that turned out pretty darn nice. And you can see that gnarly is there. And I checked, and that's sort of following along those lines there. Unfortunately, it's like right on the top. But I don't think I'd had to grind a lot to get that out of there, because it actually goes pretty deep. It looks like a small druzy pocket of some sorts. But overall, man, we are talking really nice looking agate. The colors are not really vibrant. They're vibrant earth tones. And over here especially, it's like you can see right down through those. And it's like, I'm sure if I even got the flashlight, yeah, see how the light comes through on this edge here? In the same way after I drop it. Oh, there, you can really see it there. How that light comes through so clearly over there on those large lines of clear agate. But that is pretty darn nice. So I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, This here stone is a win. So, if you like the video, hit the button up there, subscribe to the channel, and then you'll see when I'm doing more of this stuff. I mean, we like to do stuff here. It's your best place to come for stuff. So hit the button, subscribe, like it. That really helps out with the channel. And once again, thanks for spending some time with me, and have a good evening.